watch Mr. Heavyweight Boxing today.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Chris, the Nightmare Arreola, and you're watching Mission Boxing.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? First, let me give a shout out to my man AJ. He had texted to me, man, this article, Chris Arreola. I'm gonna leave this article in the comments section. All right, you go ahead, click it, read it, come to your own surmise about it, man. But basically, in the article, you know, Chris Arreola is just talking about, you know, he needed that time off that he took when he took like 2.5 years off after the Wilder fight, and he actually came back on the Wilder and Fury undercard. I actually showed up to Staples Center and I missed the damn Arreola fight, man, because I was trying to catch even all the undercard fights, you know what I mean, when I got there. But I ended up missing the Arreola Lorenzo Smith fight. I came right after the fight was over, man. So he did pick up a victory. He was 245 pounds in that fight. He was actually 1.5 pounds less than he was for the Deontay Wilder fight. But in this article, you know, he's fighting a southpaw in J.P. Augustine, or Jean-Pierre Augustine. Undefeated fighter, Haitian fighter, you know. So Chris was just pretty much saying that, you know, he's been sparring some southpaws and he wants another title shot. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be an uphill battle for him to get back to that position. So this is kind of like, you know, Chris Arreola's last hurrah, man. He's had 3 title shots in his career: Vitaly Klitschko, Deontay Wilder, Bermane Stiverne. The first 2, I thought he did earn those title shots. You know what I mean? The Vitaly Klitschko fight was on HBO. He was an undefeated guy. He's being hyped up. I was actually pulling for him to win. I thought that Vitaly was a favorite, and I thought Vitaly would most likely win the fight, but I was pulling for Chris to try to get the victory that night against Vitaly Klitschko. I remember after that fight, he was like cussing on the mic, and, you know, emotional guy up in there, man. You know, he does wear his heart on his sleeve, which is why I think a lot of his fights were entertaining, because he's a come forward type of guy. You know, man, I'm pulling for Chris, man. You know, I would like to see him in another entertaining type of fight. And there's one guy in particular I really want to see him fight, and I think they'll do numbers in like a Southern Cali type of fight, and that's Andy Ruiz Jr. You know what I mean? I've been wanting to see them fight for a while now, man. But regardless of that, though, you know, Chris is going to be in there with J.P. Augustine. I've already broke that fight down, so I will also leave the video when I broke down that fight about a month ago. You guys can check that out as far as the style breakdown of Augustine versus Arreola. But one thing I will say is Augustine, on the inside, man, he likes to wrap up and hold. You know, he likes to pot shot you from the outside. He's a lefty. He's pretty, you know, quick, straight. He like throw quick, straight punches, move around a little bit. Sometimes he will be aggressive depending on the level of opposition that he's in there with. But I know when he gets close, man, he is susceptible to just clinching. And maybe Chris can try to fight J.P. Augustine when he's trying to clinch. When, you know, when he doesn't want to fight, when he wants to clinch and wrap up, maybe Arreola can force him to fight right then and there and not let him get a time, not let him have time to take a rest, take a breather. You know what I mean? But I think he's going to be using movement and trying to use angles and try to land quick 1-2s and just move on Arreola and try to get Arreola into putting up the high guard and plotting around, chasing him instead of cutting the ring off. All right. But yeah, man, this is Chris Arreola's pretty much, man, he cannot afford a loss, you know what I mean, unless, because right now he's not even mentioned as far as none of the top 10 or top 15 guys, you know, so a loss right now would really hurt his career, you know what I mean? So he seems to be in shape. I've seen some training footage of him, man, but he's going to be on that, you know, Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia undercard coming up here March 16th, so a couple weeks here, man. So also another fight that I wouldn't mind seeing a fight. I see Charles Martin is fighting Gregory Corbin, another heavyweight fight that's on that card. Another guy that, well, shit, Martin was a former champion, you know what I mean? And he's taking on an undefeated guy in Gregory Corbin who's hungry. One thing about Augustine and both Corbin, these dudes are undefeated and hungry. You know, they want their opportunity. Arreola had his opportunity 3 times as far as being in title fights. Charles Martin won the title against Glasscoff, and then he defended against Anthony Joshua. So he's had his opportunity as well. He just lost his last fight to Konowski, which was an entertaining fight. But yeah, man, I'm pulling for Chris Arreola, man. I'm not even going to lie, man. He was first guy to give me a drop on my channel. That's not the only reason why I'm pulling for him, but I've always been entertained by his style. Man, I couldn't believe he lost to Adamek. Adamek was using combinations and moving and touching Chris, man. I thought Chris was going to blow through Adamak. And I know Adamak is a former light heavyweight champion and cruiserweight champion. I know all that. But I just thought stylistically, I thought Arreola put the pressure on the man and just be too much for him and overwhelm him. But I was wrong that night. But Arreola has some entertaining moments throughout his career, man, that I remember. I remember watching him on ESPN and on HBO. The Seth Mitchell fight, which I thought kind of was a resurgence for his career because they were putting a lot of hype behind Seth Mitchell around that time. The Eric Molina fight where Arreola got buzzed by Eric Molina. I think it was a left hook Molina hit him with. And then in that same first round, Arreola gets him out of there. The fight he had with Curtis Harper, both of those guys were completely out of shape. For those of you who don't know who Curtis Harper is, that's the gentleman that walked out the ring when before the fight even started with F.A. Ajagba. But him and Chris Arreola, they were both out of shape, and it was a classic, man. That was a classic little, underground little heavyweight fight, man, in my opinion. I remember the Kaufman fight, Fred Cassie fight. I thought, he probably could have, both of those fights could have went either way. But yeah, man, Chris Arreola, I think this is his last hurrah, man. So curious to see how this all plays out for Chris when he steps in there against JP Augustine. I think it's going to be more entertaining than people think. If Chris does get by him, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Andy Ruiz Jr. You know what I mean? But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section about this, man. I'm gone.